Hello guys and gals and whoever they are. Um, well, my name is Steven.
This is Lucas, and welcome to another episode of Concessions and Confessions.
I think week 6 technically. Um, Either one, I don't know. But yeah, welcome everyone. So I guess briefly, I don't know if you haven't ever seen this or listened to this show before, but we basically just talk about some entertainment news or things that happened, and arguably the biggest thing that happened since our last podcast was the release of the second Pikachu movie trailer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's big
Detective
news.
Pikachu. Yeah, bigger than any news that happened at all last week, or the weekend
Nothing else
specifically.
mattered.
No, no. Briefly about that trailer.
I
I
didn't
mean,
see it.
Mewtwo's in it.
Really?
Don't
That's
know why
exciting.
he's there,
I
or it.
mean,
I don't know what it is. If it's a, is
I
it's
guess
I don't
it's
know.
gender neutral, but
Yeah,
we're not supposed to assume.
just Mewtwo. Let's call him
It's just me
Mewtwo.
too.
So which begs the question for me, because I actually like Mew more than Mewtwo. Is Mew gonna be in that movie? Don't know. Hopefully, but there's a Lickitung, and its
I heard
tongue
it's creepy.
very creepy.
Okay.
They meet it on a bus, I
Okay.
think. But yeah, so less important news. The Oscars happened and
Yeah.
whatnot.
No hosts, thank God. Honestly,
Way better.
yeah, it's way better. There's a lot less cringy humor.
Yeah.
And I mean, they got a bunch of people to present the awards and present the Best Picture nominees. And I feel like they selected really likable people like John Mulaney, Aquafina, you got Pharrell Williams, you got a lot
That's
of people
yeah,
that
like
were like
Tina
really
Fey, Amy
likable.
Poehler, Maya Rudolph. That
Uh,
was the
uh,
very first one, I think.
yeah, yeah. And then Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun. Well, not a lot of fun. Like it was just less of a bore. Like honestly, the ghost, the hosts. I don't know. They were always the worst part of the ceremony for me.
Yeah.
And getting rid of them, I don't know, made the ceremony more digestible.
It
But
also felt, even though it didn't really take, like, it wasn't significantly shorter, it was probably about the same amount of time, it felt way more fluid. Like, there wasn't a lot of stopping, really. It was kind of just like awards, awards, awards.
yeah,
It felt,
presenting the
yeah.
best pictures nominees as well with like little short clips and. But I guess other than that, what do you feel about the actual awards handed?
Um, I would say for the actors, I think every acting award probably was deserved. I didn't see for supporting. I didn't see if Bill Street could talk.
Mm-hmm.
I
Bohemian Rhapsody,
didn't see Bohemian Rhapsody.
Green Book.
Didn't see Green Book.
So you only saw the favorite,
Yeah.
which won Best Actress.
She's really really good in that movie. I have not seen The Wife or The Good Wife. I don't know if it's called The Wife. That show is The Good Wife.
The good? No, I don't know. I
There's
have
like
no
a show.
idea.
There was a show on CBS called The Good. I think it's just called The Wife. Um, I've heard Glenn Close was supposed to win. Like they said, this is her year. She's been nominated 8 times.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we were gonna have another Leonardo DiCaprio situation. Like, even though it wasn't even his best uh, role,
Yeah,
like it was just, oh, he deserves it. Let's just
yeah.
give it to him.
Like
A
Al
lot.
Pacino in Sense of a Woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or even Martin Scorsese, best director for The Departed. A lot of people thought this was going to be the case for Spike Lee. A lot of people were rooting for him, like even though they don't even think Black Klansman was the best directed movie. It's just like,
Yeah,
well, give Spike a an award for best directing. He did get an award for best screenwriting, which is something, I guess. I think
yeah.
it's actually his first award.
He won last year or 2 years ago an honorary Oscar.
Sure, yeah, but
Um,
like in the
like on the
normal
actual,
ceremony.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's his first.
Uh,
It's his first
Honestly,
nomination
Spike
for
Lee
that
was
too. I
the
think.
best part of the ceremony. Like all of his reactions, like they would keep cutting to him in the audience, and he is so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Did you see his post conference or like whenever you win an Oscar, or like an Emmy, there's like basically there's like a press room in the end, and
Okay.
he said Green Book was like he's a big Knicks fan, which is the New York basketball team, or it's one of them. I don't know if you know that.
Uh-huh.
They play at Madison Square Garden. Like,
Yeah.
basically, like they're the New York basketball team. So he's, I believe, a part owner and a like long time season ticket holder, like courtside. So he's a huge Knicks fan, and he said watching Green Book win Best Picture was like watching the refs make a bad call at the Garden.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Damn. Well, he didn't care. Well, speaking of Green Book, I saw a lot of controversy about that movie
me
winning,
too.
mainly because of the way it whitewashed a black story. Basically,
Yeah,
uh, it's
I did like
another.
all the screenwriters are black, are no, are white,
Yeah.
and I was like, what?
Well, yeah, because this is framed from the white character's perspective
Yeah,
to make it a redemption arc. Because I
yeah.
haven't seen the movie, I'm really not that interested in watching it, even if
I
it
will
wouldn't.
watch it
You will. Okay,
for
you'll
this
watch it for
at
us.
some point. I'll watch it and tell us.
Cool. But my main thing, well, no, people's main thing that they took issue with was the whole uh, making a redemption arc for a racist. Like we've seen that quite a lot of times. That's why.
No, you need to watch more. Yeah, what watch white people get redeemed. You know, you gotta watch more of it. Gosh.
Yeah. Uh, my pick for best picture was Roma. Uh, but at least I'm really proud as a Mexican that Alfonso Cuarón got awards as director, cinematographer, and producer
Trace.
for best foreign picture.
Yeah,
I feel like Netflix is so happy that
they
their
well they
movie
needed to
won.
because Amazon has been, I think, like Netflix has done good in docs these past
Yeah,
couple years, but they
yeah,
never won like major awards. Um, they haven't even been nominated really for, I think, major awards except for last year, which I think they were nominated for
Mudbound.
Mudbound, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, like they've been hungry for it.
Yeah, and they finally got
So,
it. I feel like this may have opened the door for more Netflix content.
oh yeah,
I guess a last quick tangent we want to hit. Actually, the most awarded movie of the night was Bohemian Rhapsody. Believe it or not, I don't know if
still need to
people
see it, but
like a lot of people may have not seen our first episode, which came out just the day like a couple days after the nominees were announced.
yeah,
Basically, I said that Bohemian Rhapsody pretty mediocre. Like the only thing that like kind of dragged that movie down was in the non-performance scenes. The editing was nauseating, and well, funny enough, the Academy can tell good editing apart. Like I showed Steve uh, this one scene, and he was,
it was
I
the
can
scene at
edit better
the
than this.
table, like
Yeah,
where they were. I don't know who this guy. It's Peter Baelish from Game of Thrones, but it was, as someone who hasn't seen the movie, I'm sure you've told me there's more examples of this in the movie. I felt like my head was spinning. It was constantly cutting back to every person's perspective at that table. I, they tell you not to do that. Like
in film
first thing,
school,
yeah,
like first thing you do in editing classes, don't do this.
yeah.
Like
It's
now,
yeah,
like for editing professors, they have no excuse to say like there is a wrong way to edit because Bohemian Rhapsody won best editing.
yeah.
Like,
Take that, editing teachers and professors.
yeah, well, and maybe it won because it had the most edits, you know, because there were so much rapid cuts.
I'm trying to think. I know there was this Western film, I think, that had like close to 3,000 cuts, and
Wow.
like I think in the last 20 minutes it had like, I think, less than half, like slightly less than half than all the cuts in the movie. It because it's like it was just a bloody western.
Yeah.
I forget exactly the name of the movie, but it was just a lot of cuts. And I actually saw like one of the clips from it, but it wasn't jarring. It was just like a lot was happening,
Mhm.
but never at any point was I was like, why the hell are we just like looking at everybody? Like it was like person getting shot, gun shooting. Like it was very stylized, but I didn't mind it. But when I saw that one scene, I felt like I honestly felt like my head started to hurt, and I can't imagine watching that on a giant screen. Like
Oh
I'm like
yeah.
that would be even worse. But I need to see that movie. I'll probably rent it. It just came out, just like Spider-Man did today,
On
actually.
video,
Yeah, digital release.
digital.
And
We're waiting for the physical release. That's what we're waiting for, and
Yeah.
we promise the moment that Blu-ray drops, we're gonna make an episode all about
Yeah.
Spider Verse.
I'm.
Which okay, wait. Speaking of the Spider Verse,
It won.
it won Best Animated Feature. Like
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think there's ever been a more deserving win. To
I.
be honest, like that's
That's why I
the
was so
one
worried it was gonna
movie that
lose.
deserved the most to win in the entire night and in recent Oscar history. I think. Uh, I was really anxious. I really didn't want Disney to win the award. I don't know. I felt like
They had two in there, right?
yeah, Incredibles and Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph. Okay, I want to say this about Wreck-It Ralph, and
You've talked
I've
about
talked
Wreck-It
about it
Ralph.
before. That movie does not deserve to be up there as a movie. Visually, it's very pretty, very well made. The animation's great, but it is weird, like as a movie. Like I don't know how it made it past Disney's like executives and anything. Like, oh yeah, this is okay. Yeah, let's put this out there. I don't know. Either way, visually, I never want to belittle animators when I talk about an animated movie. I want to put that out there because y'all, you work so hard and you don't get appreciated enough. And I feel bad for people animating for a bad movie, like, but you tried, and I
Imagine
recognize it.
animating for Spider Verse. Like that would be the dream. Like, have you
Yeah,
ever stumbled across any I personally stumbled across a bunch of like Instagram accounts of people who worked on Spider Verse,
oh
and
yeah,
so the artwork and concept art they have up there is like wow,
yeah.
so much effort went into this movie. Like
Like
a lot of effort goes
140
into
animators or
anime.
something like that.
The what?
Like just 140 animators alone on that.
Oh yeah,
And they said like the original Toy Story had like 30 something.
yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, that Spider Verse episode, March. What does the
22nd. It's not a month. I think it's maybe like the 19th or something. The physical release. Um, it's not a month exactly from today. It's a little less than a month, but I think it's like March 19th or something like that.
see?
So yeah, mid March, holla at your boys, and we'll do that. So I guess it's a good time to move on to our
Next
first.
segment.
Yeah, next time we both watched the first two episodes of The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, comic book adaptation from something Gerard Way, the singer from My Chemical Romance, wrote. It won a bunch of awards, so I heard the comic book is really good.
I want to check that out actually.
Honestly, yeah, as an ad, so far the show has worked. Like, I'm interested in checking it out because from some of the artwork I've seen, it's much more bleak and gloomy than the actual show. The show is going for that really happy aesthetic, I feel. Like all of the colors are really bright. It looks like honestly, it reminded me a lot of Sky High. I don't know if that was the case for you.
Um, Not exactly. I
At
mean,
least the colors, like not the
the
tone.
lighting is kind of dark. Everything is very dim, and there's like
Really?
soft. There's shadows and everything. Like I think and like a lot of blues.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
But they're like bright blues. I thought.
I mean sometimes more than others. I would say. I think it's not as dark as I think it could be, but there's definitely times where it's dreary. I don't know, but I do get the sense that the show there's so much licensed music in this show. Like in the first two episodes alone, I think there's maybe like five or six like popular songs or famous songs. I don't even know. Like they're at one point in time were popular, but like I wonder how much of the budget of the show went to just
Just
licensing music.
songs.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's crazy, but they like to do sort of for like non-spoiler stuff. They like to do like these action sequences with a popular song or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, sometimes I think it works more than others. In these first two episodes, there's this one song called where it's like "Run Boy Run" or something
Yeah.
like that. That's a really good song. I've never heard it before, but it's definitely modern, and I thought that was really well done. There's a couple really, I think, well done sequences in these first two episodes, and I think last week you referred to, or I think we were talking about it. And you told me about the Queen.
Don't
Don't
stop
stop
me
me
now.
now. I saw it. It's
I,
okay.
I feel like Queen should stop lending their songs, especially Freddie Mercury's song. It's just
Yeah.
like the dude's dead. Like I don't know, have some integrity somehow. Like I personally felt that the "Don't Stop Me Now" scene, like when they used the song, was really out of place. Personally,
It didn't for me. It wasn't out of place, but it was unnecessary. Like
yeah,
I didn't need that song.
I feel like most of the music they've used, like to me, it's like a cheap trick to pull in people in order to enjoy the scene even more. Like
Yeah,
I feel like the scene alone is not strong enough to carry, the story or the the experience of consuming the show. I'm gonna
yeah.
say the production values are really good. I thought like the mansion.
Jesus Christ, yeah. They're doing a really good job with like making the show look expensive. Like I don't know if it probably is, but like
I'm pretty sure it is.
the sets and everything are like really well made, well done. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's I guess a brief kind of spoiler-free synopsis is that this crazy billionaire, well, before the crazy billionaire, 43 women give birth to babies at the same time, even though they weren't pregnant. And this billionaire tries to collect all of them,
Yeah,
but he only managed to buy seven of them.
yeah,
And so it turns out that these babies have superpowers, and he starts his own superhero academy.
yeah,
But the actual story takes place when the kids are all grown up,
yeah.
basically.
There's flashbacks,
A
and
lot of flashbacks.
some of them are more interesting than others.
I'm gonna
But
say from the get go, I like the flashback stuff better than the present stuff. Personally,
I'm not gonna lie. There are like some of the flashback stuff that I think are stronger than some other flashback parts. I think are way better. I'm gonna sneeze, audience. I'm sorry. God dang it. Okay. Well, sorry guys. For the listening audio, whatever. I'll take that out, but whatever. But yeah, the like there's a character number 5. Um, I really like number 5. He's
yeah. Right now, he's
like
probably the most interesting.
yeah. Well, he's no, he's definitely the most like
Yeah,
because
every
everyone else just I don't
everyone
know.
else is just man.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of like Diego because he's the bad boy, and usually
He
bad boys are kind of fun.
he reminds me. Okay, I don't know if anybody plays Apex Legends, but he kind of reminds me of this one character, Mirage. Like I don't know why, but he looks like Mirage as an actor. But I don't know that he's completely
But
irrelevant. But I like him too. He's pretty good. There's
uh,
somebody else I want to.
Ellen Page,
Ellen Page, I feel like is very underutilized in these first 2 episodes.
I'm gonna say I feel like because she's the biggest name in the cast, she's probably gonna become more and more prominent.
She has to.
She has to. But as of right now, I don't like her performance a lot. Like it's just Ellen Page being Ellen Page. It's just like everything's really deadpan. There's not a lot of like external emotion. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Well, it's supposed to be internal. Like, imagine what's going in her head." It's like I don't know. I'm really personally not invested in her character as of right now. And honestly, I kind of take issue that there's some romantic implications
Oh,
between two of the siblings, the super muscular one and the one that's like
this
a
guy is
supermodel.
comically muscular.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely wearing like a bodysuit.
Oh yeah.
He's comically like it kind of reminds me of like the Juggernaut from like
The
the
X Men.
X yeah like X3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but pretty much like uh,
Despite them being adoptive
it's kind of
siblings,
weird. I mean, at the same time, I don't
well, they
really.
they were raised
They were
together,
raised
like as
together.
siblings, and the fact that there's some romantic implication between them, I don't know. I hope they don't go for it.
They're gonna go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
they wouldn't. The show wouldn't bring something like that up if they weren't gonna go for it. And for me, like I think as an audience member, I think I'm not like not okay with it, but I'm also like it's it's because they're not related, but also they're raised as brother and sister, so it's super weird. Like I guess if they try to make the argument like that they're adults now and that they kind of just like they themselves could think of themselves as just like old
I'm not cool
friends.
with it,
I'm
like at
also
all.
not super cool with it. But like if they were gonna go for that, I'm hoping they don't make it like a huge plot point, which I'm skeptical of them not doing that. Personally, um, but I don't know. I just
Well, episode
you know.
two also kind of set up a possible romantic subplot with Ellen Page's character, her violin student. Did you catch that?
That was weird. That was
Yeah, like that was one of the most uncomfortable sequences I've ever seen.
I think it's
Like
intentional though. Wait, how many episodes have you seen?
the what I've seen two. Oh, what did you ask?
Or how many episodes have you seen?
Two.
I feel like it was supposed to be intentional for like episode 3.
Yeah, but like what I mean is I don't like the guy at all. Like honestly, he's going to this woman's house to take lessons in quotations, and he's like constantly like hitting on her. Like honestly, I thought like if this, especially because I know how Ellen Page is a really big feminist and advocate for LGBT stuff. It wouldn't be surprised me if she like bats him out, you know, in the sense that well, you're creepy, dude. Like, do you do realize that I'm like he seems you're like your prototypical nice guy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get that, and I felt like he's weird because like I've seen that guy before. Like I know he's like a familiar face. Um, so it makes me think he's gonna have a bigger role in the rest of the show. Like, but I don't.
I didn't like him at all.
I didn't
Yeah,
like him either. I don't know if we're supposed to. I felt like we weren't like as an audience. I feel like the show is telling us like you're not. You're supposed to be sort of questioning about this character. Speaking of questioning these characters, the ape guy
yeah.
thing. I feel like you're definitely
Pogo,
supposed Pogo.
Pogo.
I
Yeah,
think you're
yeah.
definitely supposed to be weary or like cautious of him.
Well, he's too pure, basically.
There's like one point in these. By the way, we're sort of veering into like light spoilers. Actually, before we go like to full on spoilers, more so than we already have, did you like these first 2 episodes, and are you gonna keep watching?
Not enough. Honestly, I didn't like him enough. I think I watched like each episode on two sittings. Like I had to watch something else or do something else because I was kind of bored.
That was
Like
me with the first episode.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
me for both episodes. I don't think even though Five is probably the most appealing character to me right now, he's not strong enough for me to keep on watching personally.
See, to me, okay, so let me answer my own questions. Will I keep watching and did I like it? I liked it enough to keep watching. So I'm probably going to finish this season out. The show, going into spoilers a little bit, it has basically its own clock where it says like 8 days from now the world ends. That's what number 5 says. And basically, like I'm assuming there's like 8 episodes, or is there like one for every day or something like that?
That would be interesting. I think so. Maybe 10.
I think there's
I'm
probably
not sure.
10. But like either way, I'm still very excited to sort of see where this goes. I'm hoping it doesn't let me down, but I'm pretty
I
sure it will.
feel like have you heard of like J.J. Abrams talk about the black mystery boxes? Like how it's not about the answers or like the end result, it's about anticipation and making the audience want to know more. I hate that. And so
Oh,
I feel like right now this show is a bunch of like empty promises it won't keep. Like the way it's working with like kind of cliffhangers and making you ask questions, uh the way they're doing it, like I know they know where they're headed to because the series of course and like every episode was already released. It's not like Lost or the Star Wars movies. Like every JJ franchise doesn't know what to do with themselves, but I digress. This show, I don't know, it to me it seems to be working on audience expectations because I'm not expecting a lot per se. Like I don't know, I feel like it's a cheap trick to keep on watching. I don't feel like the episodes themselves were good enough to warrant for me to keep on watching.
yeah.
I feel like the only reason why I would keep on watching is to find out what will happen, what's going on with this, what's gonna be the twist.
That's kind of
And
my reason.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
the endings I think are strong. The cliffhanger endings of each episode, or maybe not even cliffhanger so much, but just like I think the ending scenes in both episodes are very strong. So even if the whole episode is kind of boring,
Well, that's
I don't
that's
know.
just what The Walking Dead used to do.
Okay, so you're correct,
Yeah,
and I fell
it's a
for
cheap
it for a
trick. It's
couple
a cheap trick.
seasons.
Like
Yeah,
have something cool in the end, even though the rest of the episode was boring, and
yeah.
people will keep on watching. And because it's structured like that, like okay, if there was like something interesting every 10 minutes, so that means and speaking of
There's
which,
interesting aspects. I think the show is, I think, stronger than The Walking Dead uh, was. At times, I feel like The Walking Dead was. It got old towards I think like the fifth or sixth season, but early on, if there was like a cliffhanger, I kind of was like more excited to watch the next episode. But for me, the real issue with I think The Walking Dead versus this show, and because this show will never have that problem, The Walking Dead, when I eventually caught up after binging and watching week by week, the cliffhanger ending got really, 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 really old, like very quickly. And I still watched it live on the air for like 3 seasons, and I finally gave up. I think around season 6, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. But this show will never have that issue because it's Netflix.
uh-huh.
So I think the
but
cliffhanger won't
but
lose
it's
it.
still the same formula of just have something really juicy in the end. We don't need to put like something juicy before, or like not even juicy, just like compelling, or at least from my perspective, I didn't find it compelling. So that's why I feel like it's such a cheap trick in order for you to binge watch the entire season. And it's like, oh well, if I watched it all, I can't say that it's bad. But I don't know. I still feel like the episodes themselves, like if you were to ignore the cliffhangers, it's like, yeah, there's not much to it. Like the characters, I don't find them they're compelling or engaging to watch, and the plot, it's basically just one big mystery box. Like, why will the world end? I don't know.
Well, okay, so here's one thing I want to give the show credit for is that there are mysteries, like even small and minor mysteries that are happening, and they're like they're you can like how did the dad die? How did like I guess what happened to the number 3 or whatever? I don't remember the number
The
6,
Kraken.
the Kraken guy. What happened to that guy? What happened to like who are these people that are following number 5? Like basically a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of um like interesting mysteries, and so far I will say from anything that we've learned, the show doesn't tell you. It actually it'll walk you through it kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, and either I will say sometimes it's through flashback or something, but like so far I'm kind of liking it that we're if we have a question, they'll show you like in real time a scene that happened or like when it happened. They'll give you the answer, which I think is pretty solid. There or some what happened like what's in that little box that they actually have like the actual black box.
Oh yeah.
What's gonna happen with that? There's all these little mysteries, and I think that um, doing like having all these things that have to be like all these loose ends that have to be tied up, I think is really good TV. I think Breaking Bad is masterpiece examples of tying loose ends up. As
Yeah,
far
but
as
like
like,
the actual episodes were really engaging.
oh no, yeah,
Like,
but this is not the same quality as Breaking Bad by any means. But like, I think if you want to watch, like, just to have things looming in the background, Breaking Bad is such a great show to watch to get inspiration for that. And this show, I think, is setting up to do things like that, but on more of like a CW
oh
level,
yeah, honestly, I got CW vibes from the beginning.
on everything except the production value of this show. This show is ridiculously expensive looking. Even the monkey guy Pogo, he looks really good. He doesn't look
Caesar
Planet of the
good.
Apes good. Yeah, he doesn't look Caesar good, but he's very very good for TV. Like it's and I think even actually when he's alone, I think he looks Caesar good. But whenever they put like a human character in the shot with him, it looks weird. But because you can see the texture on him, you can see the individual hairs. Like they do a really good job with the CG on that Pogo character. Um, there's also a very interesting character which we haven't talked about yet, which is the mom.
Yeah, I was like really intrigued as to okay, so what?
She
Because this
might be a
character
robot.
in
She's a robot.
flashbacks, uh, she looks the same as she does in the present. Turns out, should we tell the people? I
No,
don't.
that's it. Well, that's another thing. They don't tell you
They
that
show you.
they show you. So like it's another good thing. Like because whenever you first see her, she's like I guess a normal age or she's an age appropriate to have these level of children, and then the next time you see her, it's at the dad's like memorial service in the like courtyard, and she's the same age, and you're like, what? And then very later, I think later on in the episode, you find out that she's a robot or something. We don't know exactly, but she's not well, like a human, I guess. She could be an android.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that
She could
was
be
my
part
guess.
human. But still, I thought that was cool, and that they didn't tell us that.
Hmm.
We see a scene of her, like So I think they're going in the right direction with doing that. Like, we're I felt satisfied whenever I saw something like that. I think honestly I didn't hate the show. I didn't think it was. I didn't even think it was that boring at times. I think I disagree with you. I mean
Hmm.
I'm pretty so far I'm pretty sold on the show. I think
Cool.
I'm very excited to keep watching it. Actually, I'll probably watch more tonight. But
Dope.
like I don't know. It was I was I kind of I haven't had like a drama to watch, and that was kind of my thing with Handmaid's Tale. Is like I haven't had a drama like an hour-long drama to watch in a long time, and the thing that I think I'm gonna like this show more so than Handmaid's is that it's less
Dramatic.
yeah, it's like it's less draining and like but it's like a different type of show for me because
Hmm.
Handmaid's Tale I feel like so far is just quality and good storytelling and like just good characters and things like that. And like this show, it has that. For me, it has that, but everything is lighter tone. Like even if the world's gonna end in 8 days, I feel like we're still gonna have a few like laughs or like decent like less serious moments in between, which I kind of like. I kind of evokes 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 superhero movies and stuff like that. Like and like All Might from My Hero Academia. Like if you like can't smile through it or whatever, like always have your smile, let everybody know everything's okay. Like I love that concept from My Hero Academia. Like I feel like superheroes should have that. Like, and if they're superhero adjacent, I feel like they should still be able to like make jokes and stuff like that, even though the world's gonna end or something. Like so. I'm very optimistic. I do get like sort of CW Arrowverse vibes from this, but I don't know. I'm excited to watch more, and I'll if you're not going to continue it, I'm hoping I will tell you that you should finish it.
Okay.
Like I'm hoping that's where this is going to go. Like I'm hoping that I think all your worries will be, fulfilled or whatever.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I guess this is another good good time to transition to our next segment. I watch, you watch.
That's
Last
right.
week, what did you watch that I asked you to watch?
I watched the Academy Award nominee, The Ballad of the Buster Scruggs,
Mm.
Netflix original. And what
And
did you watch for me?
I watched Bone Tomahawk. I don't think it was nominated for anything. I want
No.
to say one thing about what it could have been nominated for, and that's sound. My God, this movie's sound is unearthing.
So I get this tradition. I start, and I will. But we're both talking about westerns this time
I know
around.
it's very
I guess
interesting.
uh, I'm not a big western fan, to be honest.
Really,
Yeah, like there's very few I like. I'm really not into old westerns. I like modern spins on westerns. Like I mean, I like Unforgiven, like any other guy. The new True Grit. Uh, but yeah, I'm not a western guy. How about you?
I mean, I'm a pretty decent Western fan. I like, I guess, some of the more popular ones, like what is it, the Magnificent Seven? Not the one, not the new one.
Yeah, yeah, the
Uh, the
classic
the new one. Okay, I want to say something about the new one real quick. That is not how you do a remake.
one.
So boring. Like I don't know how you have this cast and it's so boring. Um, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is really good.
Oh yeah, I like spaghetti. Well,
Spaghetti
I like
westerns are.
Sergio Leone. I like
Oh
the
yeah.
Dollars trilogy,
Did he
basically.
do? What is the one? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is
I actually have never seen that,
that is
and
a
it's a classic.
great movie.
Yeah,
Oh my, that has one of my favorite like endings to a movie of all time. Like it's you gotta watch
I
it.
I,
It's
I
so
plan
good.
to, but
The,
I don't know where. I'll
um,
find out.
I might actually own it. Not
Really?
here with me. I don't think I'm looking at my little like thing for you video people. I think I have it back home. I'll see if I can bring it. But
Dope.
my God, that movie's amazing. But so
Yeah, maybe
Western.
I just haven't seen enough good westerns.
Yeah,
Maybe.
there's some good, there's some bad ones too.
Oh
But like,
yeah.
yeah,
But okay, so the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's six short stories. Uh, not really thematically connected. I guess there is sort of a theme in the sense that the theme is the Cohen brother style of like black humor and kind of dark drama.
mm,
Although, so six shorts, each one is about 30 minutes, I would say. Uh,
what?
yeah.
Wait, how long is it?
This is like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
So wait, there's six. It can't be that long then.
Maybe, well, some of them were 30 minutes, or at least they feel even longer than 30 minutes because, well, again, Coen Brother style, everything is really slow, but cinematic. Uh, like the movie from a cinematography standpoint, editing, really top notch. I'm gonna say it looks weird for a modern western.
The
In the
camera was off-putting for me, like from the trailers. I don't
Yeah,
know what camera they used, but it kind of threw me off. I guess because I don't think it's film.
I
I
don't
think
think
it's
so either.
digital camera. So um, I think that was another sort of weird thing I had
Yeah,
with
but
it.
like everything looks so clean. You know how Westworld, even if it's supposed to be fake, everything's kind of dirty and
Yeah,
gritty. Like this looks really pristine. Like I don't know, it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon at times, you know,
I
but
feel like
live action
I don't know if I'd like that because I kind of like the dirty like
and the gritty.
yeah.
Yeah, like well, the first short, uh, Buster Scruggs wears all white, and there's not but like that's part of his character. Like he's supposed to be really charming and intelligent, unbeatable and sophisticated. So it's exaggerated.
Mm.
Everything is really well. It starts really exaggerated. I feel as you move along with the shorts, each one becomes a little more grounded. Because I mean, the first short, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, like it's almost a musical because there's a lot of songs and the characters sing, and it's got a really kind of jokey, funny ending. Like it was cool. But okay, do you remember the CGI deer in Three Billboards?
Yeah.
He makes a return in this movie.
No.
Yes. Uh,
No.
yeah, the CG in this movie, I feel like
You're pretty, but you ain't her.
I feel like we got a lot of CG backgrounds. Like they got really uh big scenery shots, you know, and like what's like really distant from the camera, you can tell that's like CG. Like it almost looks like you remember the Wizard of Oz, how like the backgrounds were just flat paintings.
Jesus.
Well, it doesn't look exactly like that, but invokes that kind of feeling. I almost feel it's kind of intentional. I
It
feel like
has to be
this
though.
is like well, just like old westerns, they also look pretty clean cut. I feel like that's what they're trying to. Well, like John Wayne movies, they don't look that dirty.
I think okay, so I think they don't look that dirty, but they also shot like if they didn't shoot on a stage for like the like certain scenes, they shot like kind of in like a wide open area where at least like the backdrop was nothing but sky.
Hmm.
Like there was still like the like traditional like set like towns basically, but I don't know. It just feels weird. Like CG in a western, I don't know how comfortable I am with that.
Yeah. Uh, that's why I feel like it's paying a homage to old movies. Well, if back then they used paintings to uh, imply big
Like depth.
distances or whatever in depth,
Yeah.
like oh we're gonna use CGI. At least that's how it looked to me. Uh,
Maybe I can get on board. We'll see.
maybe. But the thing is, you've talked about how you're not a big Coen Brothers fan. Like
Yeah.
honestly, jumping ahead to who would I recommend this to? People who like the Coen Brothers. Like it's really good cinematography, really good editing. the acting is, like that really like deadpan, but
Yeah.
also kind of jokey and dark, kind of.
How's James Franco?
He's James Franco. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
For me, he's one of those actors that I'm always thinking, oh, hi James. I don't know. I can never forget that he's acting. Uh, I think his
I've forgotten
story
Zap's
is
artist
probably the
actually.
one I like the least.
Really?
Yeah.
His is the one that gets memed a lot. Like the oh, this is
Oh
your
yeah,
first
your
time.
first time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that scene got a chuckle, but other than that, I feel like my favorite stories are, uh, they're right in the well, it's either 3, 4, or 5. Like, I feel like 5 is the best individual, like, story.
Yeah.
Uh, but there's something about 3 and 4 that I really liked.
Okay.
Uh, the the turns the story takes, I was like, yeah, I can get on board. Uh,
Can I ask you a question?
sure.
Do you think this movie serves better being a feature as like one thing to watch, or do you think it would have done well as independent, like six different shorts as a part of like sort of
Yeah, I
a
was
limited
thinking about
series?
that. I think it does drag because a lot
Dang.
of the shorts feel 30 minutes or even longer than that. I actually had to, like, between 4 and 5, I took a break because I was like, I don't know, juicing away or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a tough recommendation. It's like, oh, do you like No Country for Old Men and The Big Lebowski? Honestly, I think this is most similar to something like maybe Fargo and
I
kind of
have not
Burn After
seen
Reading.
the movie. I've seen the show, the first two seasons of the show actually, and
Well, nothing like the show.
the show's incredible. And I
Uh,
think maybe that might be because it's not like the typical Coen Brothers.
Probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
for me anyways. Like I'm not a huge fan of Coen Brothers.
but yeah, I mean, I think the editing is probably one of the highlights of this movie. It's
Really?
just really subtle. It's really tasteful. Like,
Yeah.
this movie should have been nominated for best editing, and it should have won over
Wow.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Personally, I just like how I think the Coen Brothers themselves, on their pseudonym, they edit their own movies.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and they're really good editors.
They I want to say this like I'm not a huge fan of them, but as filmmakers, they make very well good like well-made films.
Yeah,
Like I'm just not a huge fan I guess of their writing per se.
sure,
Like I'm well not like not even that it's bad. It's just not for me.
sure.
I can appreciate it and like No Country for Old Men I think is probably the best of the movies I've seen from them and I just the ending for me bothers me so much.
Really,
Like how is the sixth story in this one? Is the sixth one strong, or is it one of the weaker ones?
I'm gonna say one of the weaker ones.
No, dang it. I'm all about a good ending. Like personally, I think that's why going back to the Umbrella Academy, like the ending of the episodes, if it's a good ending, I am more likely to want more. You know, like I feel like I have been sort of I, I I guess I've been trained, you know,
Sure.
by like wanting good endings in movies and in TV. Like um I don't know. So the sixth one, would you say it's like
It's I like it better than 1 and 2, maybe.
so
Uh,
it's like fourth on your list of
Probably.
okay. That's not terrible, but
I mean, like, it's better than any, like, student film I've seen. So I mean,
oh oh
of
yeah.
course, but like, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know if you'll be like, maybe watch one a day as if they were like 6 different episodes of a season of a series.
I
Like,
wish they were split up so bad.
but
Like
like,
every time I hear
otherwise they
about
couldn't have
anthology.
been nominated. So
I
that's why
know,
they
yeah, yeah.
put them together. Uh, yeah.
I think I'll still give it a shot because I mean, I don't know why I have this like notion to support Netflix, but like for some reason, like I don't know.
Please hire us.
Yes, I mean I don't know why working for Netflix seems so like almost liberating in a way because like your show I feel like could do worse on Netflix than it would on like any other like anything else. and because it was on Netflix, you could probably still like make another season or continue, or like there's room for error. I feel like on Netflix, like because they are getting money no matter what.
Hmm.
You know, like they're always gonna get the same amount of money. Um, Netflix is getting to the point where I think they could charge like $20 a month, and I don't think people would care. Like, I
I
don't.
would care.
Oh, you okay? Yeah. Like, I mean, like, I think as individuals paying for a Netflix account, I think they would care more. But I think for like families, like I use the same account with my family, and like I don't even, it's just one of those things. Like it's Netflix has become like a water bill basically. Like
Hmm.
everybody has it, you know, and I think the more good quality content that we can get from Netflix, like the less and less we have to go to the theater. And part of that is good because, you know, puts more competition, so the theaters have to step up their game, maybe even lower their prices a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I want to support like Netflix stuff, which is why I'm glad that they won Oscars this year.
Oh yeah.
So like they get the more esteem and like the more distinguished they get, like the more I feel like esteemed and like accomplished people are gonna want to work with them.
Hmm.
Even though Netflix works with like everybody now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very excited for the new Scorsese movie, The Irishman.
Oh yeah.
Like that cast though, it's like everybody he's ever worked with is in that
Is
movie,
there
which maybe
like
not Leonardo
except
DiCaprio,
Leo,
yeah, but
basically.
so would you think I should still check this out?
Check it out. And like if you want to see it in its entirety, maybe just watch like 2 stories a day,
Okay,
maybe.
I'll probably do that, something like that. I guess it's a good time though to move on to Bone Tomahawk.
That's right.
Um, I want to say this because I feel like this keeps coming up for me personally over these last couple weeks, but um, I'm not a I'm not super big on violence.
You're
Spec-
such a dad.
I know, specifically like brutality and like senseless gore and like basically I don't know, just okay. So I want to say one thing about this movie as far as a western goes. I think this is the first western movie I've ever seen with handheld shots. I think it's the entire movie. I think it's all handheld, which was interesting. It kind of made it feel more real. Like I've kind of, which also sort of adds to the horror on one of these moments where I feel like I was actually there. Um, like there's some like really, really, really well done shots in this movie. I think um, one of the, I guess one of the sort of interesting things about this movie is that they don't do a great job, I think, about making the scale like the scale of the world. Everything feels very, very, very local. I think maybe in the movie there's less than 10 actors or something like that. Like there's maybe 10, and then there's like maybe like 10 something extras. There's very, very few actors in this movie, and there's like not very many locations, like recognizable ones at least. Like there's, I think, a bar, one of their houses, well, like two of their houses, and they're not even there for that long. They're like a couple scenes. Um, the majority of this movie is a journey through the desert, more or less, or through the Wild West. Wherever the wherever they're going. I guess a brief synopsis. It's kind of a spoiler, but it's basically like the log line of the movie. These this one man comes in town. He's like a drifter, and he has like, you know, upset. Basically, like he's upset some. That I don't know exactly what to call them. In the movie, they call them troglodytes,
Hmm.
which I guess means like
Savages. I
yeah,
think.
like they have a Native American like like they ask him like if what tribe they are, and he says like they don't have one like us, like we wouldn't even describe them like us, but y'all wouldn't see the difference from us and them, but we do, which I thought was an interesting thing to have that character there. He's only there for like one scene, but basically, um, these three individuals get abducted from a the sheriff's county jail, I guess, like the sheriff's office, and the sheriff, the deputy, and one of the people abducted was one of the guys, like one of the characters' wives. Him and this other guy who they call the professor, I guess. Four of them set out to go retrieve them. So that's like the basic plot of the movie. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. I think the acting is really well done. Um, Kurt Russell is just he he's good in I think in a western setting. Like I would like to see more westerns with Kurt Russell. Um, I think have you seen Lost?
No.
There's like the main character from Lost. I forget his name. He's the doctor in Lost. He's in this movie, which I'm glad because I feel like he hasn't been in enough things, and I thought he was really good in Lost. He's great in this movie. I mean, I thought he was solid. Um, there's another really recognizable actor. Um, he's in Step Brothers. He's the dad of one of them in Step. I forget his name, but he's also fantastic in this movie. And then the other guy is the Ocean Master character from Aquaman. Like, and he's also in the um, all those whatchamacallit movies, the Conjuring movies.
Okay.
And he's in Insidious. I forget his name, but he's also great. And then the wife is great. Like all these acting solid. Sound the sound at times I feel lower, like frequency tones, like horse hooves and like just walking and things. I felt were very emphasized, which at times got annoying, but also at other times it like heightened the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's these really interesting sounds from the sort of I guess the troglodytes. I don't know what to call them. I'm sorry if that's offensive. That's what the movie says, and I don't really know what to call them because they don't really call them anything other than that. They just sort of know that they're the people that have the wife and the two other people, so they just kind of go out for them. Um, I guess as a movie, I think it's good. Um, this movie has I think this is a soft spoiler. It has kind of an abrupt ending.
Okay.
It's not that it's like the story hasn't been completed. It's more like this is where they want you to think that, or like this is where, or all that they wanted you to see, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is it, like, you know, and I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not. I'm not crazy about it. I mean, I would have liked a little bit more, just like maybe like another 5 minutes. But I'm not mad at it because I think they want us to assume like what actually happened. And I think that's kind of an interesting way to do an ending. They do it kind of trying to think of another like, abrupt ending. For whatever reason, The Sopranos always comes up when you think of abrupt. I haven't even seen it, but I just heard about it. Like I don't know, this one it was a fulfilling climax of the movie, I think. But this movie is also sort of similar to I think actually like older movies where the climax is like in the last 5 minutes or so.
Oh yeah.
So if you're into that, then you'll probably like this movie. Um, there's okay. I'm gonna get into my least favorite part.
Go.
Um, before then, I want to say I think you should watch this movie, but everybody, including you, everybody, be prepared for an incredible level of violence. Like there is a scene in this movie where it is so graphic and they don't turn away. They show you the entire thing. I thought I was gonna throw up. Like I was I couldn't believe how violent it was. Like I was genuinely like taken back. It was so hard to watch. I like I can't even describe it. It's incredibly explicit. Like it's just I was texting my girlfriend about it like after I watched it. She was like, "Yeah, I want to know." And then like I texted her, I was like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah." And so I told her, and she was like, "Oh, dang." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm yeah." Like and like and the more the questions she asked about it, like the worse it got, and like it's one of those things where I feel like you kind of just have to see it in order to understand what I'm talking about.
I
But
feel like you
also,
should talk about it. I guess people, if they want to go spoiler free about this section, like maybe just
This is
get
more
me.
for you.
This is more for me. Tell me.
Okay, well, spoiler
I want to
alert.
know.
There is actually this movie starts off pretty violently already. Like it's a really interesting way to start a movie, by the way.
Sets the
Uh,
tone.
so this, yeah, it really does. And this, it's like a shot of this man, and he's just like cutting through his neck, like cut the veins, like,
Oh,
and it was just, I was like, why is this guy laying there? And then this guy just kind of gets on top of him and gets his knife, and you're like, oh god. And that's literally the first like 10 seconds of the movie. And then the scene I'm talking about specifically about the incredible level of violence. I'll just give the sort of spoiler. This is a spoiler section. Um, the two of the characters, Kurt Russell and the guy like that, the dad from Step Brothers, get captured, and they are put in these cells. The wife and two other men in the beginning were captured. One of them they don't even bring back. They straight up say they ate him, and so he's just dead. And the other man is injured, and he's just in the cell. They're like these kind of like cells with like these wood beams and like these like rocks that like hold him in place. The other like Kurt Russell, two of them are in one, and the wife are in and the wife and the other guy are in the other one. They take the other guy who's with the wife in her cell out. They strip him. They I really don't even think I can talk about this. It's so violent. Like I don't know. We might get flagged. Like I don't know how to talk. Like it's so bad. It's incredibly graphic. Basically, um, they execute him.
oh.
Um, that's the light way of putting it. Um, I'm honestly not comfortable with talking about.
Okay then.
It's super violent. Like it's the most violent thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
I'm it. I keep thinking about it and it's awful. But like,
Okay. Okay.
um,
Oh God. Oh.
I don't even
So big trigger warning for our audiences listening.
incredible trigger warning. Like
Yeah, you should have started with that.
it more or less. Well, I'm not even gonna like. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not. I don't. I actually am not gonna talk about it. Like I'm just gonna say it's a execution scene. It is very. I guess it felt very archaic and like sort of barbaric. And that's like it was awful. There's another like I could talk about this one. This one's not as bad, but basically they Kurt Russell and the man in the cell with him, guy from Step Brothers, they have this like sort of anesthetic in a like whiskey flask, and they devise a plan to like poison the people. So they try to like make it look interesting, and the like people, the bad guys, they take the thing from him, and one of them dies, and then one of them just gets like poisoned, but he doesn't die, and then they take Kurt Russell and okay, so after they drink the stuff from the flask, they throw it in this little fire pit that's in the room like with them, and then this is like a day later, they come back and they get Kurt Russell out, they knock him out, and then they cut open his side, and then they pull out the flask from the fire and shove it inside his body,
Oh wow.
and it cauterizes itself into him, and he can't pull it out. He
Ooh.
tries to pull it out, burns his
Oh.
hand. It
Oh. And that's not even the worst
That is
part.
not the worst part.
Wow.
That
Wow.
is so tame compared to the thing you saw before
Yeah.
that. Like that's just like a taste of how violent this movie is, and I was just blown away by how violent this movie was. Um,
But it's a good movie.
um, it's like I'm trying to think if I hadn't seen that scene in that movie, would I think otherwise? Like I think it's solid, but that scene is so violent and so graphic that I don't even know. Like I honestly can't say I could recommend this movie to anybody. Like if unless I could tell you that the exact scene and tell you to skip it, because you really don't need to know anything other than that guy dies. Like to watch that scene is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So I can't say this movie's good because of that. I,
Wow.
I'm trying to think if you take that out, I think this movie is Still very good. There would be other parts with violence in it, but like there's nothing as bad as that. And the thing is, like, I think everything else is solid, but I don't think I will ever forget this movie, for better or
There
for
you go.
worse. So, I mean, watch it at your own risk. I think um, you might find some enjoyment. I don't think the ending is satisfying enough, I guess, for watching that. Like, I don't think. I guess another spoiler alert. I don't think enough happens to the people that abduct them. They get off kind of easy, in my opinion, compared to that. Like what happened. So like, it's it doesn't feel satisfying enough. It's not that I wanted them to have something bad like that happen. I just wanted a more fulfilling end to that. Um, and you kind of get that, but the thing is, you don't even see it.
Wow.
Like Kurt Russell's character does that, but you don't see that. Like other people leave him, and he kind of finishes the job, so to speak, but you're not with him,
Wow.
and that's what I mean. Like the ending's kind of abrupt. I just if we saw Kurt Russell finish it off, I think it would have been better. I don't know. This movie is. I feel like it had other moments to make it more fulfilling at the end, specifically after putting us through something like that as an audience. So I can honestly say if I saw this in theater and I saw that scene, I would have left. Like I don't think I could have finished that scene in theater. Like so yeah, I guess watch at your own risk. It's decent. It's not a bad movie. It's pretty decent western on every other aspect other than that one part. But I wouldn't recommend watching this movie with like kids. I guess you know on a date or something like Netflix and chill. Let's watch Bone Tomahawk. Right? Ha ha ha. Bone. Like I wouldn't.
That's the worst joke in this show
Yeah,
ever.
you're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, like you want to see my Bone Tomahawk. Boom. Okay, never mind.
All
But
right.
don't
Well,
don't watch this with the ill fated heart. Or like I don't know. It's just you have to have a strong stomach, and I guess be able to forget things easily.
wow.
Yeah.
All right.
S-
Well, then let's move on to next week's
Yeah.
recommendations. Well, I guess from starters, we're both going to watch the first couple of episodes of Peaky Blinders on
Yep.
Netflix.
Never seen it before. Heard a lot of great
Yeah, I've
things.
heard nothing but great stuff about that
I've
series.
heard like Tom Hardy is like in it, but not really in it. Like
Oh.
he's like
Isn't
he's
the
kind
main
of
character Scarecrow from the
yeah, yeah,
Nolan
yeah.
movies? Okay.
And he's great. Like I think
No,
he's a
he's a good
solid
actor.
actor.
Yeah, he's so good. So maybe finally see him in the lead will be
Yeah, I'm
interesting.
I'm very excited for that.
And for I watch you watch, I'd like you to watch Lars on the Rear Girl, starring Ryan Gosling on Amazon Prime.
Okay, and I am gonna ask you to watch from earlier Mudbound.
Ooh, all
Heard
right.
great things about it. I
Me
think
too.
my mom saw it. I think she said it was sad. I
Yeah.
can't. I don't know exactly what it's about. But I've heard it's great. I know it was nominated for a couple of things. I think Mary J. Blige was nominated for Best Supporting
I
in a
think
screenplay.
did it win best screenplay? I think it
I think it
did.
did actually.
Yeah.
And then I
So
think
that's a good indication.
yeah, and I think it was nominated for Best Picture, or maybe it wasn't.
I don't remember.
I think no, wait, I think it was, but yeah, it was a highly regarded movie last year. Just never got around to it. Very interested, but yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's it for this week, guys. So yeah, guess we'll. I don't know if we're not really doing any reviews. If we do, we'll just upload it and surprise you. But other than that, I guess y'all have a good night.
Bye.